long tones, intervals. How can we integrate the flexibilities and slow slurs with intervals, scales, chords, or arpeggios? What else we need to cover in this fifth episode of Tip of the Iceberg? The etudes part. My name is Cesar Pimentel, and in this new episode, like I said, I'm gonna bring the reasoning behind the etudes of Max Schlossberg and why is it? What drove it to that reasoning? So we covered already in past episodes that as soon as you start studying this method, as soon as you start studying these manuscripts, you will see long tones and you will see the intervals, flexibilities, and slow slurs, like coordination of a slide, the coordination of vowels, all that good stuff. That's gonna bring you to the first topic that I have today, which is the development of fundamentals. As soon as you start developing fundamentals, you can position yourself as a solid prospect. Like, you can start winning auditions for colleges, you can start winning auditions for small groups, small ensembles, small medium, and you can start having a grasp on what the musical life can be. So then at that point, you start developing yourself, you start like learning the nitties and gritties of the instrument, but still you need to work on the intonation part. That brings us to the chords or arpeggios and the scales, and the second part of the discussion today, which is the development of a sound. The sound is really important because, like, at this point, when you start grasping the nitties and gritties of intonation and you start developing your sound. When I was in college, my professor told me a lot of times, you need to look for the fundamental sound, for the fundamental sound, for the fundamental sound of the trombone. Like, it can't be far away from the standard at this point. So the standard at that point, which was the sound, like, maybe had some tendencies in the color, maybe in how you can get in tune. Like, remember the discussion in which we had that not all the orchestras tune at the same A. It can be 440, it can be 442, or etc. But at that point, you having that grasp is gonna give you that solid conversation of being part of a small, medium, or medium large ensemble. You can be part of a master's degree program, like a doctorate program, like you name it. And surprisingly, a lot of good musicians that we consider excellent musicians are still in here. In a superb way, yes, but still here. And then you can ask me, Cesar, but is there any level that we can reach as a musicians? Like, you having the perfect intonation, having the perfect driven of the sound, the driven of the notes. Like, is there something else? Yes, it is. I'll tell you this. Once I was taking a lesson with a trombonist, and then we were start talking about other super professionals and what was his opinion about them. So we started with one, and he was like, oh, great trombonist. Another one, oh, great trombonist. Another one, great trombonist. And then another one, and then surprisingly he said, he's on the verge of being an excellent trombonist and an excellent musician. And I'm like, huh, is there any level? Yes, it is. And it's the development of artistry. And here is is when it comes to etudes. The reasoning behind of manuscript of Max Schlossberg, as William Bacchiano said, is that as soon as he heard you play orchestral excerpts, he said, okay, you need to improve with this, you need to like strengthen part of this, strengthen part of this, so you can get easily here. And he also encouraged to listen music, like having the walls covered with pictures. The mind was working harder than his time on the instrument. So that's why he put the etude part. And then in his pillars for pedagogy, Arben and Saint-Jacome said something interesting when it comes to the etude part. You need to have a solid concept of listening to other instruments that are not yours. So if you're a trombone player and you're tired of listening trombone players, go to trumpet, go to clarinet, flute, go to violin, organ. Singers particularly, they have a lot of history ahead of us in terms of how early the super meticulous development of them started. Like maybe the trombone doesn't have that much story behind, but the singers do. They have a lot of super methods compared to other bands. Like the violin players have a lot of super methods compared to our bands, and they have some, they have some advantage among us. But as soon as you start developing the artistry, the musician inside of you, is when you start seeing these soloists that they don't need an orchestra behind to send a message, to transmit a feeling, like these recordings of trombone players, trumpet players, brass players in general, like playing stuff for strings is super amazing, like, and you can compare at that point, like the level of musicality, the level of phrasing, the level of, oh my God, like there's a lot. And when you reach this point, music life is not a concern anymore. You're gonna be higher whenever you want. So I'm closing the discussion here, and I'm gonna invite you to follow my Instagram and follow my Facebook. From now on, you'll be witness of what I'm listening, what I'm doing, and I'm gonna start even like doing blogs so you can read them, and they're gonna be in my webpage, tromborican.com. Everything is gonna be down in the description, so no worries. I hope to see you next time, and from now on, I'll see you. I want to see you like more involved. Like, tell me what you're reading. Tell me what are you practicing. Tell me what are you listening. I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to build this super motivated community, maybe in one of the hardest times in history. So, hope to see you, and up to the next discussion. Bye-bye.